Hey!
Welcome, fellow shitheads.
To another episode of Shitbox Love Stories.
So this week is fun because we get to dabble into the world of road trips.
Oh my lord, I love a good road trip.
I like them when I'm actually awake.
Which, how often is that exactly?
Kind of never.
Yeah, kind of never.
Sleeping in a car is just my thing. It lulls me to sleep. It's instant relaxation for me.
Yeah, it's like she is so prepared for this too. She knows what's going to happen, so she gets into the car when the road trip's ready to go, and I see the bag.
There's a bag. It's got earplugs, a sleep mask, neck pillow, sometimes a blanket, depending on the time of year that we're traveling.
Necessary, maybe a pair of socks to stay nice and cozy in the car while you pass out, and I listen to the inevitable bevy of podcasts and audiobooks that I've downloaded because I know you'll be asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun though.
It's our thing.
It's at least she can relax during a road trip and just, let it go and have fun with it because there's usually some kind of mayhem, especially when you travel with dogs.
3 terriers to be exact. They will lead you to very interesting stories, which we'll touch on later.
Yes, we will definitely touch on that later. And it's, again, just super, super fun. I love road trips. I love talking about them. So our first guest today is no stranger to the road trip himself.
No, he is not. He is a legend amongst myself and my family, and he is filled with amazing stories like you'll hear today. He goes simply by 2 letters, U, J. He is my Uncle John, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this interview.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, guys. Enjoy.
Okay, so if you want, I'll get started. I made a few notes and to help jog my memory.
No problem.
So you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, here we go. So it was 1973, okay, and I was in the Navy, assigned to the USS Kitty Hawk. It's an aircraft carrier. So the Kitty Hawk at that time was in dry dock at Hunters Point. It's a naval shipyard. It goes in there for refurbishment, upgrades, and
San Francisco,
right? San Francisco. I don't think it's active any longer, but anyway, it was at that time. So one of the guys in the division I was in, he had a van, and so they lived down in the LA area. So we would, we'd all chip in for gas, and we'd drive down to LA on the weekends. So we would leave early on Friday, come back late on Sunday. So we were on our way back on one Sunday night, right? So there's 4 of us, and in the van, we were all piled in the van, and so in the service, you go by last names, right? Because there's so many first names that are the same, right? So
Johns,
and I can remember these guys. I can remember all their last names, but I can't remember their first names. But but there was one of them was Son, Sahn. Another guy was named Brown. The guy who was driving was Eisenhower. His nickname was Ike. And me. So yeah, we went by our last names, and so we're on our way back. Now, I'm not sure which route we were taking, if we were taking the inland route or the coastal route, but we're going from LA to Hunters Point, right, all the way up north through San Francisco. So it was around 1 a.m. in the morning, okay? Now, it's 1973, okay? It's pitch dark. I mean, there's no traffic. I mean, not like there is now. And
no.
So, that was definitely a different time. So Son and I were in the back seat, in the back of the van, right? Brown was in the passenger's seat, and Ike was driving. Okay, and so we're all dozed out, right? We're in the back. Because he had kind of like carpeted in the back, and so we're laying back there just dozing off, and all of a sudden, Ike locks the brakes up. Right, he goes forward, right, and we get up, we go, what the hell are you doing? What's right? And so Ike is sitting there, he's like petrified, he's going, There was something in the road. He said it was big and hairy, and it looked like a man. So I think it was Brown who said, "What do you mean it looked like a man?"
It either it is or it isn't.
Yeah. Look like a man. You would say there was a man in the road, right? But he said, no, it looked like a man. So we're sitting there, right? And we looked at each other, right? And Ike is just petrified. And we looked at each other, and then all you can hear is the sound of the engine idling, right? And it's just like we're desolate out there, right? Dark. So we're looking around, and we said, let's get the hell out of here.
Why are we here?
Get the hell out of here. Take off. But it was, I was there, it's a firsthand account. Now, I knew all these guys. They're regular guys, level-headed. They're not nuts. They're not crazy, right? And I didn't see anything. I can't say I saw anything because I didn't, right? We were in the back. But Eisenhower sure in the hell saw something, right?
Right.
I mean, he saw something enough to make him lock the brakes up at freeway speed, right?
Oh,
because he
and you guys flying forward.
Yeah. And needless to say, we were like ready to kill Eisenhower, right?
Right.
But then we found out what was going on. So
should have just hit the humanoid man, just ran him over. Screw locking the brakes, just run him down.
Yeah.
Could have had proof, concrete proof.
We got one.
All these years later, you've been like, no, I know he exists because I saw that thing in the road dead.
Yeah.
You remember what kind of van it was, or it was like an Econoline or something like that?
It was an old Chevy van. It was a yellow Chevy van, just a kind of beat up van, and
with carpet.
He had some carpet in the back, and that was that was the thing back in the 70s. Have a van, and carpeted.
Put in it. Yeah, it was like deck it out with like lights and all this crap inside of it. That's coming back, actually. Yeah. People are doing that.
Yeah. That's his dream, is to have a van and completely customize it to his own.
Yeah, with like the little window in the back, that they used to have on the side, the bubble window, like the A-Team van. Yeah. That's what I always think of. With its spoiler shit. Yeah. How cool is that, though, man? I tell you, it's one of those things where you just, I don't know. You guys are in the Navy. You've been all over the world. You've seen all kinds of stuff,
but never something that just looked like a man.
Not just looked like a man.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite stories. I love that story.
1 o'clock in the morning, lock brakes probably scared the shit out of all you guys.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it did that. And then, like I said, we were ready to strangle him. Because they go, "What the hell are you doing?"
Keep going. Yeah.
But,
radio silence the whole way, probably back up to San Francisco. Nobody said a fucking word.
Yeah. And Ike was just sitting there. He was like, he was speechless. He's just like,
I know what I saw.
Blank look on his face, like scared shitless, and
he was never the same again.
Never again.
But
he probably tells that story to his own kids. I bet you. If he had kids, he probably tells that story too. He's like, I saw Bigfoot.
Yeah. And then people will go, oh yeah, right, you did. But because that's what people will think, that are, they're skeptics, right? But if you're there and like in this situation, and like I said, I knew these guys. It's just like I know you, right? And if he definitely saw something, right? Something enough to make him, hit the brakes, like, And
I mean, that he clearly was terrified.
Yeah. He saw something on the road at freeway speeds. He locks it up. It's like, I can't even imagine being asleep and thinking that everything's fine, and then being woken up by a car skidding.
Yeah.
You flying forward, going, holy fuck, what's going on? What's that thing? It looked like a man. What? You're high, man.
Yeah, that was. having been there, it's different because I know firsthand that he saw something, and you think about it, right? So people have heard about Bigfoot, but I mean, this guy actually saw one, and if you're the guy who actually saw it, I mean, that's got to have some kind of effect on you to see that in the middle of the road at night. You're going, holy shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just this like the bumper stickers.
There you go.
The big walking, like, it's always like, why don't you walk like that? Jesus, It's
like, well, I have a Christmas ornament that's just the Bigfoot outline.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That I put up every year in honor of that story.
Yeah. I mean, you could have been, if you were taking like the coastal route, you could have been near forest.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, like, whenever I remember driving up to Oregon or other places we've been, man, on the way to Oregon, there is thousands and thousands and thousands
of trees,
just billions of trees, tens of thousands of square miles of. You never know. I'm sorry, you just wouldn't know. You can't tell me that something that was intelligent enough couldn't survive in the trees or up in that area. Easily could. Nobody even know. It's desolate land.
No, you wouldn't. Even if you knew somebody was in a general area and you went in there to try to find them, you'd have a hard time finding them if they didn't want to be found. Right? Like
this thing was probably
he was taking a shortcut across the road.
Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe there was something dead in the road or something, and it was just, I can just imagine this damn thing's on its knees and looks up to see this Chevy van bearing down. Oh, fuck. This is it. Oh. And then the van just stops and skids to a stop and just idles. I'm sure Squatch was probably like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Squatch was also never the same again.
No.
Yeah.
He went home with his family, near-death experience.
He said, "You'll never guess what happened to me." Yeah.
What, honey?
What do you mean it looked like a man?
No, Squatch says, "What do you mean it looked like a van?" I'm telling you, it looked like a van.
It was there hasn't been. Watch your driver. Ike was super lost or something. He was on some back ass road. He didn't know where there was no Google Maps, no Apple Maps. We were just talking the other day about how easy it was to get lost and how you had to use a fucking a map book. I mean, you had to figure that out, but where you even were.
Oh yeah, before the days of the the iPhones and navigation, you had to know where you were going and use a map. But I think about that incident. I think about it fairly often. And the thing about it one of the things that I remember the most is when we were all sitting there right after Brown says, "What do you mean it looked like a man?" And it was just. Everybody was dead silent, right? And all you could hear was the engine idling. And that was like the most eerie part, because then we all realized, hey, there's something still out there, and we're going, man, what if it, it could do anything? So we wanted to get the hell out of there.
Time to go at that point.
Yeah.
It's time to go.
That's such a good story. It's just, you're probably in, we talk about shit boxes, but like you're in somebody's beat up by ass old van, you're in the Navy. It's the early 1970s. You're road tripping up and down California. Like I literally can't think of anything more just like perfect for that, that whole image. And then that story along with that van, you guys, it's like perfect.
It's one of the greats.
Yeah. It's shitbox 101. I'd say it's like
definitely right in the category. Fits right in. Yeah.
Fits.
Slots right on in.
Yeah. 70s van, shag carpet, Bigfoot, perfect. Yeah. It's like
the only thing better is the red truck.
Yeah, that's the only more notorious vehicle has got to be Old Red.
How is Old Red? Is she doing okay?
Oh yeah. It's just sitting there. I haven't driven it a lot though, but I I did drive it when my alternator went out on the GMC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started the GMC up and battery fault, and so jumped in the red truck, started right up, took
I mean,
off.
your logic stands. Your logic is strong. You always keep a backup card just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. You never know.
Yeah. Old Red hasn't failed me yet.
I know it's unkillable. How many miles are on Old Red now?
330,000. Yeah.
We're close to a round trip to the moon right now.
Yeah,
we're close.
Yeah, we're on the way back now.
Yeah. It's incredible. That thing is like, I remember that one. There was we were using it at one of the many times we used it, and that thing, it must have been sitting for a while. Remember the water vapor?
Yeah.
It had gotten water vapor in the fuel or something, or in the engine. And I turned on that damn thing, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, like this is kind of weird. And all of a sudden, all this billowing, like steam cloud just all over. And then I took off down the road, and it was really early in the morning. I looked behind me, and it was just this trail of steam behind me. And then it went away, and it never happened again. It was like, that was the last of it. I never did it again. It was like, I thought it was broken for good. Nah, it was fine.
Old Red is like a T100.
Quick pause before I lose all points with my nerdy fans. It is a T1000 or T800 that I could have said. Not a T100. A T100 is a fucking Toyota pickup truck. Failure. I have lost so many points. Proceed.
It's like a Terminator. He can't kill it.
And it will not stop.
That's what we should have called it. We should have called it the Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have that other story about the catalytic converter theft. Remember that when they stole the catalytic converter off of it?
It's nothing.
I was like,
nothing sacred, right?
No.
The last thing in the world.
That was the loudest.
Oh my God! You never got to hear it. I should have taken a video of it. It was.
Yeah.
It sounded like a buzzsaw. Like, and from inside the cab, I was like, I couldn't even hear when I got to home. It was like, I remember driving by that cop. That was the funniest thing. Cop pulled somebody over, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm trying to go slow, but I had to shift. And when I shifted, it went ka-cha pop, and it popped. Cop he's like, he thought he was getting shot at or something. And he just stares at me as he drives by. He's just like, this fucking guy. It's
like they just stole it from me. I didn't get it fixed.
I'm thinking, if this guy pulls me over, I'm going to have to explain that my catalytic converter got stolen and this whole thing. But luckily, he was still kept pulling over the guy he was already pulling over. It was so, she heard me from how long away?
Like a mile away.
I'm like, you are not going to believe this. Like, somebody legitimately stole it. I mean, they just cut it right off. I'm pretty sure the shop that I fixed it at was the one who stole it.
You've got a nice little business going, right?
Right.
Yeah. Replace these things, and then sell the precious metal.
I know what made you suspect that, because when he left his business card saying, "We replaced catalytic converters."
Oh, you do, huh?
Oh, yeah, hey, I just happen to need one.
I just happen to need one. Do you have it? Yeah. And like the muffler shop was right next to the train station. So
there you go.
Very convenient.
Middle of the day. It's like, how do you get away with that in the middle of the day? It's like, did anybody notice the guy on his back underneath the truck with a sawzall cutting off the fucking catalytic converter? You know?
Apparently not.
Well, they probably just walked by and said, "Oh."
Some guy's car's broken. Yeah, he's just like cutting off the converter with the.
I never really thought about it until it happened. But you could get one or two guys with sawzalls. They could just jump under there, and in less than 60 seconds, they could be gone. I mean, right through it, and
it's a lucrative business.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go into business ripping off catalytic converters. I'm sure that'll go great for us.
It's a good career path. Yeah.
It's stable.
Your cars around.
You're not going to lose your job.
No. There's plenty of cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of car. Apparently, because it was off the ground, and apparently those years of Toyotas are like
a bunch of gold or something.
Yeah, it's like it was platinum. They were targeted because of the type of catalytic converter that Toyota used was Japan, and it was had a bunch of platinum, more than normal. So if it was like it was a hot ticket, there it was in the parking lot. By far the worst. That thing was the most beat up car in that parking lot, and there it was. And then that's the one they decided to go after.
The light toned down on it. It's like, oh,
platinum.
Old
But,
red.
I can just imagine your reaction when you started up, because you had no idea, right? You
I shut
started
it off.
the truck and you expected just to start, right? Normally, and then you hear this big like boom, 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 Yeah.
I remember I got in the car. I was like, it was hot. I just have a very distinctive memory of this because it was a hot day. I got in the car and I unlocked it and I threw the key in, and then it bellowed. It was just like, boom. It was like, shut it off. I was like, the fuck was that noise? And I did it again, and I was like, okay. So then I looked under the hood, didn't see anything, and then I got under the car, and you could see the clean cuts right where because the catalytic converter was very conveniently right under the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh.
So that's where it was cut. So that's where the end of the exhaust was. The header, it was like the header, open header. So there it was right under the passenger seat, and it just was, I can't even tell you how loud that was. In the truck, it was deafening. I couldn't even think. Hey, but it had more power, though. It definitely felt faster.
Well, I bet it did.
Yeah. Eking up the joint, it was like, it was ratty. It was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that old red, man, he or she, it is whatever we're calling it. That old girl is a beloved truck for sure.
Yeah. It's come through every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taught me how to drive stick.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Do you remember over by UCR, right? It was
RCC.
Yeah, or RCC, right. Going uphill, so I could show you how to take off from a 45-degree hill, right?
With the handbrake.
The handbrake, yeah. And you did it.
That trick has saved me more times than I can count. Like,
really?
It really has. Yeah. Anytime I haven't driven stick in a while, but whenever I did, it was my go-to trick. If I was up on a hill and I didn't feel confident that I was going to be able to make it go, handbrake time.
It. Yeah.
It always worked.
Yep. That was good training.
That was, yeah. You would not let me like move on from that hill until I successfully completed it.
Well, you did
multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that. I mean, it's the hardest part about driving a stick is the intimidation factor of
rolling back
and running into somebody on some steep hill. I mean, I never did it, but I got damn close for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, Riverside had a lot of like steep like streets where you were always up on a hill. So.
Yeah. You had to. That was good training. That's the handbrake, like where that was, because on a car it'd be in the middle. Like on the console,
right?
Yeah. But on the red, it's that push-in thing, yeah.
Which made it very convenient.
I think Toyota still, just until maybe the last generation of Tacoma, still used that.
Really? Did
yeah.
They really?
Yeah.
The pole?
The pole brake with the latch in, yeah.
Huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well,
it's not broke, don't fix it.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Good design.
Yeah.
Just right there. It's easy to do. It doesn't take up any space.
No.
And then the foot operated ones are fine, but they can be kind of cumbersome sometimes if you're not, if you're not quite used to it. But for a stick, you definitely want to have some kind of handbrake capability because it happens. No matter how good you are, even if you heel and toed and you put your foot sideways and you kind of tap the clutch, it's still, and then you just smoke the tires out. That's what I did one time. I started to spin as I was rolling backwards, and I saw, fuck it, I'm just gonna gun it. And up the
no grace. No grace.
No, that was in San Francisco in my Mazda 626. Yeah. I couldn't, it was in Chinatown. I swear to God, John, the hill was like
a 90 degree.
It was like
straight
down.
I was in reverse, and I tried backing up, and I was just like, the person in front of me had given me like maybe 5 or 6 inches of room.
I hate that.
So I had nowhere to go, and I got it into reverse. I got it so it rolled forward a couple inches. I just gunned it in reverse and then right back out of the parking space.
You needed the handbrake trick.
I did, and I did it, but it was like, I mean, we have a photo of it somewhere on some old Camry, but it was like It was like that close. They parked that close to me on a hill that was like a 45-degree angle. So it was like you and your Riverside trick. You had to just learn it. That didn't hit the guy, so
Yeah.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. You
That's
didn't hit
right.
anybody.
that's all that matters there. So, well, man, we really appreciate it so much.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this is really cool to
Fun.
see you and the story for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad to be able to tell it.
What do you mean he looked like a man?
Hands down, best line of that story.
Absolutely.
It gets me every single time. Every time.
It's like, what else could you possibly say when you are stopped in the middle of the road and this man-looking thing is there? I mean, how else do you explain that to your buddies that you just sent flying through the van?
It looked like a man.
It looked like a man. Of course,
Whatever that means.
his friends all of his friends, including you, Jay, were just like, "What the fuck, man?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Why did you come to a dead stop in the middle of the night?"
I mean, a better definition than, well, maybe it was a man, maybe it wasn't a man. We're not sure.
Hey, do you know what? At least they were all safe and they made it back. I'm sure that guy tells that story to his kids or his friends.
Oh, he's got to. I mean, that story's legendary amongst my family, so
it really
I'm
is.
sure they all have still told that story.
I love it. It was great to talk to him, and that story is one of our absolute favorites. So we're so glad we got to share with all you guys.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have our own set of crazy road trip stories. Not quite as good as Bigfoot. I mean, pretty good, but not quite as good as Bigfoot.
But they still involve furry critters, just much smaller. And of the terrier variety.
Yes, little bastard terriers.
Yes.
We have a few of them, 3 to be exact.
We have a brother and sister, Mac and Cheese. Which they're like, I don't know, like 5 or something like that.
5-ish, not 5-ish now. We got them when they were puppies. And we have an older guy as well. Slightly different type of terrier mix, we think. But he's like 10, 11 now?
Yeah, he's the Stig.
The Stig, yes. Yeah, he's the Stig.
The Stig.
And he got that name actually because he, on the way home from the shelter where we got him from, he threw up in my car.
Like repeatedly.
Oh, God. Just would not stop. I mean, it was like a yellow waterfall coming out of that poor dog's mouth. He was so sick.
And he's kind of a big baby, so we just thought it would be really funny that we'd name him something so iconic and so fearless.
Yeah.
And a dog that's full of fear that hated the car when we first got him.
Oh my God, he really did. It was just we love. I don't know. It was so ironic, and he's gotten better over the years as we've come to figure out. But that was maybe a one-time thing with the sickness because he never really did it again.
But it made for a good story though.
It did, and got him his great name. So we got 3 dogs, and we often travel with these guys. We throw them in the back of our SUV, and we have been, man, I'd say tens of thousands of miles all over the place with these guys. And one place we love to go because we lived there a couple of times is Oregon. And a couple of years ago, it was like 2019?
It was 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, we decided to go up there during the summertime because if you haven't been to Oregon during the summertime, like you're missing out on life.
Yeah.
That is a place to be during the summertime.
Oh, it's epic. It's so epic. And our plan was to drive up to Bend, which is in Central Oregon. It's couldn't be any more different than Portland or the rest of Oregon. I don't know if most people realize that half of Oregon is high desert and like high plateau, and the other half is like rainforest. It's totally completely different things. So we decided to go up to Bend with the dogs as just a little. It was our anniversary, right?
Yeah, it was for our anniversary.
Yeah. And we hopped in the car. It had been it was the second day, if I'm right.
Yeah, because we had stayed the night in Redding.
Yes.
And then we got up really early so that we could get to Bend at a reasonable time. And on our way there, our dogs needed to use the facilities.
Yes. We know when these guys need to use the bathroom because they start getting wormy. They bark, they whine. They know. So we know too. We know the signals, and the signals were there. And we looked on the map, we saw the roadside signs, and it looked like the closest city was going to be Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is, I don't know, maybe 2 hours south of Bend-ish. And we thought, okay, perfect. Klamath Falls. Heard that's beautiful. Let's pop off there and let the dogs go to the bathroom.
So, in this adventure, we're taking it in. It's beautiful. There was like a lake.
Yeah, Klamath Falls Lake. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
A lake there. And it was a crisp morning. It was gorgeous.
Nobody was there.
We had nobody was there. We were the only people that were there. That's actually an important part of this story.
Yeah.
Nobody was there. So we had all the dogs on the leash, and I'm usually the one that wrangles Stig. And
I take the other two because they're kind of a handful.
Of the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got Stig, which is he's very well mannered on the leash.
Yeah.
And I'm taking in the scenery. I'm enjoying things. And I notice that he's kind of moving back and forth, but that's not unusual for him when he's using the facilities in the park.
Not, dogs not do, a big deal. Circle. Mm-hmm.
Taking it in, and then I look down, and I notice that he's rolling around. And I'm like, why would he be rolling around? And I mean, I don't mean just rolling around. He is digging his face as hard as he can into the ground to realize that he is rolling in goose shit. By the time I was able to process everything that had happened, we had already gone too far.
Oh, yeah. And I wasn't there. I was maybe 20 feet away with the other two dogs. And I just hear her screaming, "No, what are you doing?" And it was like instant chaos, man. That was the tipping point of the Rube Goldberg chaos machine for the next friggin' hour or so.
So we take the dogs back to the car. And when we do any type of road trip, I always keep a bunch of wet wipes, baby wipes, you name it. I've got it when it comes time to some kind of weird cleaning supply that you might need on a road trip.
Hey,
so
you never know.
Bust out the baby wipes. You take Stig, you put him in you pop the hood on you pop the trunk, right?
Tailgate, yeah.
The tailgate, yeah.
You got to put him in there because we had just cleaned him off. We had to
put him in there. You're cleaning him off, and now I have mac and cheese. I have mac and cheese, and Mac is moving all over around. Mac is a little girl, by the way. And again, at this point, I shouldn't have been allowed to have any dogs on leashes.
Should have just left.
At this point, I look down. Now, Mac is now rubbing herself onto something on the ground.
We're in like the parking lot, basically.
We're on like asphalt at this point. So I'm thinking, what the hell is she doing on asphalt? Oh, and then I look down and realize that my dog is now sniffing and touching and bumping and rubbing a used condom.
Yes.
People, a used condom. I am a germ phobe. This is my worst nightmare. Duck shit I can handle. Used condom I cannot handle.
No, dude. It was just like, you hear her shriek, "Oh my God!"
As I am screaming, a man comes out of the bushes and says, "Nasty motherfuckers, tell me about it." So
he was not there.
He was not there.
We didn't see him.
I have no idea where he came from. I have not a clue. So I say, yes, you're right. These are nasty motherfuckers. Have a good day. He looks at me and says, "We'll see about that."
I mean, it's like, we could not make this up. And meanwhile, this big parking lot, this beautiful park, this big giant lake, we're just stunned. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Absolute chaos.
And Stig is like caked in green goose shit. Like,
Stig is the least of my concerns at this point. So now I bust out the giant jar of hand sanitizer and I'm just dousing my poor dog in this.
You just clean it off. Clean it off.
Just clean it off.
You're never going to kiss me again. Just clean it off. I mean, it was disgusting.
This was foul. So after we have deemed that the dogs are as disinfected as we can possibly clean these dogs for the moment that we're in right now, we get in the car, we take off. Brother and sister decide to have a quarrel in the back seat.
Yeah.
To which you snap your head around.
Yeah.
And as he snaps his head around, his glasses fall off and slide in between the seats. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this man is legally blind. Legally blind without these glasses.
It happened so quick. Like they started a fight. The other thing is too, we had been driving for some time in silence because there was just like, we got back on the road silently. Nobody said a fucking word.
I needed started to decompress and just process everything that had just happened in a matter of what? I don't even think it was a full 10 minutes.
No.
I don't even think it was that.
No, it was like, it turned into this blissful, beautiful picture, opportunity to goose shit, condoms, shitstorm. And we were just like, okay, let's just keep driving. Let's just try and forget this happened.
Yeah. We're just going to pretend that this never happened.
So when they started fighting in the back seat, which they do sometimes, but you have to separate them because they're dogs. So I'm like, oh shit. And I turn around, and as I turn around, we had rented a car.
Yes.
If I remember right. So I wasn't quite used to the way this thing was, and I just kind of flicked, and it kind of, I don't know, man. I like wobbled on the road and trying to stop the dogs from fighting, and then in the midst of all that, off goes my glasses.
Off goes the glasses. So now I'm driving.
Yeah, she's driving.
From the passenger seat. Pulling off to the side of the road, telling him when to brake at this point.
Yeah. It was utter chaos. And
utter chaos. I don't even know how we survived that trip at that point. I was so happy just to like get to Bend at that point. I was like, oh God, point me to Deschutes because I can't take this anymore.
I need beer.
I need a beer and I need it now.
You need to relax. You need to calm down. It was absolute insanity. It just happened so quickly. And then after that, thank God for the rest of that trip, there wasn't really much other.
No, it was a peaceful trip.
There was the rainstorm, but that's
there was it was a tornado that went through Portland. Of all the times we decided to visit Portland because we went to Portland after we visited Bend.
Yeah,
a tornado just rips on through while we're in a tiki bar.
Yeah.
That's a sentence you don't usually hear.
No.
In Portland, in a tiki bar, experienced a tornado.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Absolutely. Seriously, what the fuck is right? And we were sitting in this tiki bar, and I'm like, I hear the rain. That was the first indicator, on the roof. And then I thought, rain. It's raining really hard. Oh, shit. I left the damn windows down on the car.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Remember that? And I had to take, so I'm just like, hold on here, stay here. And I just took off.
Because it was hail. It wasn't even rain. It was hail.
It was hail, and then it turned to rain, and it was just like that pelting, crazy-ass rain that goes for like 5 minutes, but it had just started, and the windows were down. I rushed up the street. I was parked maybe 200 or 300 yards away, pretty far. And I get there just to realize that I had parked under this gigantic tree, and the inside was still pretty dry, thank God, even though it was friggin' pouring, but yeah.
It was a rental car anyways.
Yeah. Who gives a shit about rental cars?
We don't care about rental cars.
We don't care about rental cars, but yeah, it was a really cool trip. We've had several other experiences, unfortunately, with the dogs while traveling. And I know this next one's really near and dear to you.
Oh yeah, real special one to me.
Real special time on this one. So, why don't you go ahead and you set it up and set the stage for the people so we understand what's going on.
Oh God. So for our anniversary this year, we had decided to take a road trip because that was kind of our only means of doing anything because of the pandemic. So we decided to take a responsible road trip, fully packed with masks, gloves, every type of hand sanitizer you can possibly think of.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed in a private little Airbnb.
Yeah.
Up in a tiny little town with pretty much nobody. And we just kind of did a quarantined road trip.
Yeah.
We ordered food in. We didn't really go out. It was just a change of scenery. That's really what we needed.
Right. Somebody else's house, somebody else's town, and this was in Central Oregon, about an hour south of Portland in the Willamette Valley, which we had never really explored and was pretty freaking awesome.
Oh my gosh. Talk about picturesque
Oh my God.
beauty. I mean, just drop dead gorgeous.
It was so gorgeous. But we had gone up there. We stayed up there a few days. And
we stayed there like a week, I think.
Yeah, like almost 5 days.
Yeah, we stayed there for a while.
We were over it.
We were over it.
We were so cooped up like everybody, is during these times. And we just didn't want to be around the house. We wanted to see some pretty stuff and go enjoy the outdoors. And that's what we did.
So it was the day to leave, and we were upset because we didn't want to go back to our normal lives.
Hell no.
We got all the way down. Where was that at?
Stockton.
Mm-hmm. That's a town for you.
If you live in Stockton, we don't mean to offend you.
No.
We
don't.
But we've had bad experiences in Stockton for some reason.
We have. For whatever reason, something goes south whenever we're there. We have bad luck attached to that area.
We do.
I don't really know why.
I don't know either. I just know that whenever I go through there, I dread it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So we had made our stop because, again, the dogs needed to use the bathroom.
Running theme here.
Running theme. Dogs needed to use the bathroom, and we needed gas. There was no rest stop anywhere nearby, so it was just kind of wherever you could find a little patch of grass. That was going to be the area that we had to take the dogs to.
Yeah, we just couldn't find anything. We had to get gas.
And we didn't want to waste any time trying to find it was just wherever was near the gas station that had some grass that was going to have to do, so we didn't waste any more time off the road so that we could get back home.
Yeah, because it was already a really long day as it was. We've been on the road for some time, and at that point, you just kind of, we were more than halfway.
We were doing this as a straight shot for everybody that knows, and it was a 17-hour drive that we were doing in one day.
Yeah.
One day.
We powered through that shit because we're crazy.
What's wrong with us? So we take the dogs out. Again, I have Stig. Like always, I have Stig. He's a good boy this time.
Yeah.
Causes no problems, rubs around and no shit. Yeah. We're great. Load him up in the car. Now we're waiting on mac and cheese. And all I hear from you is, son of a bitch!
People are so fucking disgusting!
And that's when, my heart just, dropped to my stomach because I knew I was going to have to deal with something disgusting at this point.
Yeah, and I'm just I have him, and he's doing his thing. They circulate around this tree, and then he goes to get back into the car, and he's got his front foot up, just kind of holding it up. You know, dogs do that.
Like there's something in the foot.
Like there's something in the foot, and he's like, Dad, get this shit off of my foot. So I'm like, it's probably just a sticker or a wood chip or whatever.
Oh, no. It couldn't have been anything easy like that. No. It was a fresh wad of gum.
Yes.
A fresh wad of COVID gum, as I like to call it.
Sweet saliva COVID gum that was just all over that dog's paw.
Inside the paw pad, in his fur, it was
everywhere.
Horrible. So, thankfully, I brought gloves for this trip.
Right.
Brought gloves, and we had a jug of hand sanitizer that we bought from Costco that was in the car.
The only way to get hand sanitizer, jugs.
Jugs. So I put on a pair of gloves, douse his paw in hand sanitizer, and now we're trying to work this gum out.
Oh,
and I remember, thank God, I have really hairy eyebrows because I had brought I brought my manicure scissors with me. So grateful I had brought these scissors with me. And I was able to cut out pretty much all of the gum. I mean, there may have been 5% that I just could not get out because it was on the pad of his paw. And if I kept rubbing it, I was going to rub it raw at this point. Yeah.
You know, the dogs have a gap in the middle of their paw, and it was the gap was filled with gum. This was a big fucking wad of gum.
It was huge. And
it was hot.
So gross. And it was hot outside.
Yeah, so it was really soft. It was just the worst case scenario. And then I step in it because I didn't see it the first time. It was
everywhere.
It really was everywhere. So she sacrifices her poor manicure scissors.
Which I've had for so I've had those for 12 years or something like that. If it's my trusty little pair of scissors, and I'm sure everybody's got their weird little things that they just keep for forever. And that was my weird little thing that I just had for forever. And I swiftly threw those fuckers away because there was no way I was going to keep those. There is no amount of disinfectant that I would have felt okay with putting those near my body again. No.
God.
No way.
It's just disgusting. And it was and then luckily our dog is a good dog and he's a sweet guy and pretty easy with stuff like that. Stig is nippy when he gets stuff stuck on him. He's a nervous guy. He's not mean, but the groomers, forget it, dude. Touching him, his feet
around there.
Oh, he's terrible.
So thankfully it didn't happen to him.
Yes.
Thankfully it happened to the easier dog. I mean, I wish it wouldn't have happened at all, but since it did, at least it happened for a dog that was easy to touch his feet.
Yes, exactly. And he was gracious about it. He hated it, but man, he was so damn great. He just did not know what to do with himself the rest of the trip because he had his all of his fur cut off his feet.
I mean, he just looks so dejected at this point. Poor guy.
He's so stressed out, and we were stressed out, and you know how that goes. It travels downhill, and it was just once we got a chance to get it done, calm down. I think we threw away. We had bottles of water on the ground underneath.
Oh, I threw them all away because I was because there was just chunks of this stuff flying everywhere, and I had little wet wipes that were filled with gum, and I didn't know where they were going. I was like, oh no, I can't Can't deal with that. As soon as we got home, he quickly got a bath.
Yeah. What else could you do? It was like, and again, much like the last story, there was several, maybe a good solid hour of just nothing.
Yeah, we lost an hour of time on the road because of that. It took me over almost an hour to pick out all of that gum because there was so much of it. So much.
So gross. I mean, it is just like the worst case scenario. So yeah,
swallow your gum or throw it away. Don't leave it on the ground.
Yeah, like I don't want to step in your, and all these people are staring at us like, what the fuck are these guys doing over here?
No, I had totally lost my temper at that point.
Oh, it was just like, and I did too, and like it was not a good scenario, but it's one of the many joys of traveling with dogs. You just never.
Yeah. You're always gonna get some kind of an adventure.
Yeah, you never quite know what you're gonna get, and you try your best. You wrangle these guys, but things happen sometimes. Luckily, nobody got hurt. There's just some messy condom faces and shit faces, and
I would have rather have seen Bigfoot.
Totally. I would have rather seen Squatch in the flesh right in front of me than anything that happened that involves any disgusting ass thing.
Somebody that just kind of looks like a man.
Yeah.
Like I'll take that too. I'll take it. I'll take any of those. I'll take any of those rather than dealing with those horrific situations.
Yeah.
Actually, and then next would be goose shit. I'll take that too over condoms and gum.
Oh, I mean, at least it was a natural product. Man, this was like, he was green. That was the grossest thing, because I guess goose eat algae or something. It was just like, it was like bright green shit. Mm-hmm. It was like a vibrant color that does not belong in nature, but apparently the
Sid
goose
turned into the Hulk after that.
He loved it.
A complete opposite of what this dog actually is.
Yeah, no, he loves. I've catch him rubbing in shit all. Like he'll take a good opportunity on a walk to rubbing some cat pee, and he's a nasty bitch. I don't know how else to say that, but he's just disgusting. But it was fine at the end of the day. Great stories. Nobody got hurt, and we walked away with a little bit of a little couple souvenirs we didn't really expect from that road trip.
Nor did I want.
No, not at all. But it's, again, we thank you guys so very much for joining us this week and listening to our stories. We hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Make sure that you like, subscribe, rate us, whatever it is that gives us kudos. Go ahead and do that if you like what you're hearing.
Hell yeah, because that's how we get supported, and your support means everything to us, and we are so looking forward to the rest of our stories we have to tell and getting to know some of you, which is so cool. I love when you guys reach out and say, hey, we love the show. It's really cool to have that happen.
It is super cool. So we will catch you guys next week. And remember, road rage never leads to anything good. So be kind to one another.
Yeah. Love each other. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.